Norman Brandt, MSc, Director of Intelligence at InSciTech GmbH. Anyone who's thinking of engaging with this guy should definitely do some research. CNN has already exposed him as being a total con artist, so this is a scam. Here is the CNN article. Below that, is that a link to the article?
It is.
All right. Thank you, Corey. Zach, do you understand that in this litigation you're seeking pain and suffering damages?
Yes.
And you're seeking damages for embarrassment
Yes.
and humiliation.
Yes.
Can you tell us about that?
I talked yesterday about how I've been able to get back up every time I've been knocked down, and the SEAL training stuff, and I'm sure there's been many, many other times. I've always been very proud of that quality, and it's just part of my DNA that you don't quit and you don't stop. And every time I failed, I tried to learn from it. I think failure is one of the best teachers. And for the majority of my adult life, I was always able to bounce back, even from pretty horrible things. I went through extensive training to test my tenacity, my mental toughness, and I always came out at the very top. And this is something different, though. I've never had my life wrecked. I've never not been able to not been able to tell what tomorrow looks like, but I'm not the same person that my wife married. She's never had to worry about anything. She's always known that I'm a provider, and I always will be. My mom, the same. So to do it to me is one thing, and to do it to my family, just
Objection. That's not an issue in this case.
it's okay.
Please continue.
The hardest part has just been I know I'm not the same man that I was. I know I'm not the same person my wife married, and I'm humiliated about that. We had many conversations with her about what happens in 3 years, what happens in 5 years. You know, are we going to move back to the U.S.? Am I going to try to get a job at any job I can find? She's still in school in Austria. She's working on her master's degree, and I'm not able to look her in the eye and tell her, you know, it's going to work out here, a place where we've lived and we've built a home. And then just the idea that these people, like Matt Gunning and all the names I showed you yesterday, that they don't want to even have anything to do with me anymore.
Objection.
And I'll sustain it to the extent it may be considered hearsay of comments they may have made, but if there's a different way, you can
Zach,
ask a question differently.
for the rest of this, I want you to tell me about the way you feel. All of your testimony should be about how you feel, not what other people told you.
Yep.
To the extent it's what other people told you, or it's how it made you feel. Focus on that. At least tell me that.
I feel like a total failure. I've had, you know, some time now to try to recover. I've been in psychotherapy, been put on medication, multiple medications. Initially on antidepressants. Wasn't enough. Still couldn't sleep. Still can't sleep. Still have panic attacks. So they had to put me on stronger medication and put on stronger medicine for sleep and panic attacks. They all have side effects. I don't have the energy that I had before. affected our intimacy. It's affected the intimacy that I've had with my wife that we've known. Because my libido's completely gone. And I don't know if it's the trauma or the medicine or both. It's hard to separate it. But my wife has been very, very understanding. But I've been the rock. I've always been the rock. And I'm not the rock that she married. I'm not the one that has the stability. And I have to lean on her for that, and it shouldn't be that way. And my wife's had to make a lot of. She's been tremendously supportive throughout this experience. It's been horrible for both of us. And I just feel ashamed that I'm asking her to continue to try to accept me for the way I am now, which isn't the way I was before. I went through a long period where this is right after it happened, where I just stopped taking care of myself. I didn't even notice. She'd have to point it out that I was wearing the same clothes for like 3 or 4 days at a time, and I wasn't using deodorant. I wasn't using deodorant. I wasn't showering. I didn't even know. And we used to do a lot more things together. And the energy is just gone. We never go out for walks in the woods. We never travel. She's just had to make a lot of accommodations that she shouldn't have to. And that's been the hardest part for me. And then with my mom, I support her for the majority, and I have for decades. And there is an end to that at some point, and I don't know what it looks like. And I still try to keep her assured that it's going to be okay, and lying to her. I don't know that anymore. I don't know it's going to be okay. Just telling her what she wants to hear, and that's hard for me to do. But I try to tell myself it's going to be okay too. Maybe in 3 or 4 years, everything changes, and I wake up from this thing that was a bad nightmare. I don't believe myself. Once something like this happens, it's forever. It's permanent. It doesn't go away. I feel like I've just been completely destroyed and embarrassed and emasculated in public all over the world. And now my family's still trying to work through that with me, and they've all been very supportive. Matt's still here, my brother. My wife, I hope that her mother, we can find somebody to help out with her next week, and she can be out as well. She wants to be here. But she's been through so much already, you know.
Why isn't she testifying?
I would never put her through what I've had to go through. She's been through it enough with me, so no, she hasn't testified, and I would never put her through that, considering what she's gone through already.
Zach, have you seen doctors to try to get some of this under control?
I have, yeah. It took a while. The medical system's a bit different in Austria. It's socialized, so things take longer. But it took about 2 months before I was able to see a psychiatrist. It's actually considered short for Austria. that I was able to finally start seeing a psychiatrist and was put on medication and weekly psychotherapy. I'm still in psychotherapy. But it's not something that's improving or getting better. It's just this is what I need to continue to get by. That's my life.
May I have 1 minute to come? Your Honor, we have no further questions.
Russell.
Thank you, Your Honor.